welcome to this new episode on how to improve your marriage line. And today we are going to talk about what happens when you have too many lines. A line. So let's look first at what would be a good line. A good line is just one line. From this, on the baby finger, under the baby finger, starting from the outside of the hand towards the inside. So this would be a good line. Or you can have two lines. So the two lines would just mean that you may have had like some commitment at different times or different types of commitment. You can go maybe three. So two lines that would have to be separated, okay? And maybe three, but starting at more than three, then this is called too many marriage lines. So you have an example here, and you have another example that I'm showing here. So what does it show in the personality? Well, if you have too many marriage lines, it means that you are more like a butterfly. And what does the butterfly do? It goes to different flowers, like, flower here, flower there, flowers on the illustration. It can be by doing it, meaning that you will go from one relationship to the other, or it can be just in your head. You might be just dreaming of one person and another one and another one and another one. So the important thing to find out here, because our society, in a way, like if you think of Casanova and Don Juan, they sort of admire somebody who's going to have lots of girlfriends. But I don't think that these people are actually happy. And it would be interesting to find out why they are doing that. And this reminds me of a friend many, many years ago who used to be like that. He used to be totally against any commitment. So he would have a girlfriend, another girlfriend, another girlfriend. And the reason that he used, what he told me, he said, "I love my freedom too much." And this made perfect sense to him. Except that when I started to think about it, I realized that this was not the reason. This was the reason he had given to himself to understand why he was like that. Now, this young man lost his mother when he was 12, and he used to adore his mother. And he was devastated. And I do believe that any commitment that he made in his life, he was afraid that the person would be removed from his life the same way as his mother had been removed from his life when he was 12. And a lot of the time, this is what happens. There is a lot of fear in the idea of, if I commit myself to one person, maybe I'm going to be hurt, and I don't want to be hurt again. Now, as I mentioned, it's not only if you are having affairs or relationships, but it can be in your head too. And right now I am showing you an example of somebody, as you can see, lots of marriage lines, and this man has never been married, and he has never had a girlfriend. And I know that his family has told me this is a man who lives in his head. So a marriage line, as I said, it's more like a commitment line. It means that you are putting all your passion into someone or something. And in the case of this man, he has lots of passions. So he loves astronomy. He loves looking at stars. He loves music. So he is always listening to the latest. When I say music, I'm talking about classical music. He loves beautiful things like art, but in a way he never does anything about it. So for instance, music, he might just listen to music, but he never learned how to play an instrument. He likes astronomy, but he usually follows what his close friends are doing, and he's just in his head, he dreams. So as you can see in his hand, he looks like he has lots of passions, but it's all in his head. It's not a person. When you have a strong line, a strong marriage line, it can be a very strong relationship, somebody where you put your love into the person, or it can be a cause. And this was the case of somebody that I know who never had any relationship in her life, but she put her whole love into what she was doing. She chose a cause, and she kept doing this for her whole life. And she was so happy. You could tell that this person never missed the fact that she didn't have anybody in her life. But she was entirely happy because she could put all her love and her passion into what she was doing. I'm going to show you the fact that sometimes I like to show an improvement, but sometimes it's not an improvement. It's going from good to not as good. And the example that I'm going to show you, you can see it's a young lady who used to have one line, and she has lots of lines, and she's one of these people that lives in her head. She doesn't have a lot of relationship. Actually, I don't even know whether she has ever had a relationship, but she's always interested in another thing. So what she needs to do is to commit to either a relationship or something that she's going to really love, and she'll be able to put all her love, all her passion into it. So how do you change from having lots of lines to having one? And the first thing is you have to develop commitment to one person, or to a thing, or to a cause, or to something that's going to take a lot of your passion. And you have to remember that in relationships, variety is not the spice of life, because what we are looking for, when we're looking for a commitment, we are looking for acceptance, for somebody who's going to be there for us, for the ability to bear ourselves to someone, and to really give everything to the other person, and to just say, yes, accept who I am. I am giving myself entirely. And what happens is, a lot of the time, there are some fear. So ask yourself, what am I afraid of? It might be like my friend who lost his mother, but he never realized that the loss of his mother had affected his relationship. If he was able to realize that, maybe he will be able to realize, okay, this was his mother, but a wife or a girlfriend might be something totally different. So how to deal with it? You might want to do some journaling. You might want to ask questions in your family. You might want to maybe take some therapy, or you might want to book a session with me, because we will be looking at your whole hand, and I can tell you it's easy to find if there is a problem and where to work on the problem. In the case of the man who was never able to have any relationship, and it was all in his head, he has a big problem, a big island on his headline. So working on a problem on his headline would probably free him so that he would be able to have a relationship. So these are things that you can do in order to improve your marriage line. And if you have lots of marriage line, just go back to maybe having one, but a strong one, because this is a type of marriage life marriage line that's going to make you happy. So, good luck and be happy.